Welcome everyone to Orange Elementary and our official grand opening celebration. I have to tell you, I definitely stand before you tonight with a grateful heart. On behalf of all of the staff here at Orange, we want you to know that we consider it a blessing and an honor to get to serve the students of Orange in this amazing facility. And as we look out tonight, we see faces that were with us at the groundbreaking, were with us when we closed Orange and had our ceremony, and now here for the grand opening. If you were with us on that journey and here for all three, would you please stand? There we go. There we go. Please stand if you were here for all three. Thank you. Thank you. We also want you to know that we take the responsibility of building on the past and preparing for the future very seriously. And we know here at Orange that education is definitely a team sport. If you look around tonight, we have volunteers in the parking lot. We have our Orange Parent Association people with us tonight, our partners in education. Look at our student leaders over here. Didn't they do a great job? It truly is a learning community here, and we think our mission, as you see posted around our building, says it all, that we are inspiring a community of lifelong leaders and learners every single day here at Orange. Tonight, as we come together to make this official, we would like to draw your attention to your program as we have two changes in there. One of our changes is we want to make sure we add the Scouts, and as we're making that note, I'm going to ask the Scouts to please come forward. The Scouts will be doing the pledge for us tonight in just a moment. And we're also very honored to have our kindergarten teacher singing the national anthem. So in just a moment we'll move on to that. But our other change in the program is that the symbolic presentation of keys will be after the Roar Song and the Seven Heavens. So those are our two changes in the program tonight. But our Scouts are here to lead us in the pledge. We have Ms. Kimpston to sing the national anthem, and we would ask that you please stand and join us.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, it proved through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Special thanks to our Scouts and to Ms. Kimpston. I need to tell you a little story. you'll notice in the program that it says that national anthem was in honor of Miss Kimpston's father, and he passed away just 2 weeks ago, and one of his favorite things was to hear her sing the national anthem. And when she came back on the committee, I didn't know that, and I was trying to let her off the hook of not having one more thing to get ready for, and she said, no, tonight's important. Tonight's for my dad. He would be very proud, always was, and he was tonight. So Miss Janelle Kimpston is a woman of many talents, and like I said, tonight was no exception, and your dad would be very proud. Thank you, Janelle, for doing that. We're going to move on to our speakers, and the first speaker we have tonight for you is Miss Alexis Hesse. I am so proud to introduce her. She is a 5th grader here at Orange Elementary, and she is in Mrs. Schuler's room. When asked about Orange, this is what she said. I have always loved the staff and students at Orange, and I'm proud to be a student here. She is the first generation in her family to attend Orange, and she was chosen because she's a very active, involved student. She's a true leader here at Orange. Please help me welcome Miss Alexis Hesse.
Hi, I'm Alexis Hesse, and I would like to say a few words about the old school and the new school. The old school captured many hearts. I mean, it did stand there for about 100 years, yet not many repairs were done. It really held on to its youth. The time has come to say goodbye. Job well done. I'm going to miss that old school, but thank goodness for this new one, with air conditioning and lots more. This school that I'm sitting in right now is a better learning environment and a better place to practice leader and me. Plus, it's brand new. Am I right? I know I'm right. What am I personally going to take away from most schools is what a friend truly is.
Thank you, Alexis. Thank you. Our next speaker is our mayor, Mr. Buck Clark. And most of you know that he's been the mayor since 2010, but what you may not know is that he is also the grandfather of one of our students. So we call him an Orange Grandpa. So please welcome Mayor and Grandpa Buck Clark.
That's a new one. Thanks. Don't you remember that, Jameson? Okay, we're no more Orange Grandpas. Ladies and gentlemen, boy, what a pleasure. And really, Terry hit it on the head. What a blessing and what an honor to be here tonight. This is just incredible. And we Waterlooians take our young people and their education very, very seriously. And our folks have had the good sense and the wisdom to several years ago vote this local option sales tax in, and has given us a penny on everything that gets sold in Waterloo. And we are now, I think, completing the elementary rebuild of our schools in Waterloo. And what a great accomplishment that is. These schools are just incredible. We are so fortunate to have them, and the staff. And Ms. Trask, you just are, I don't know anybody that has more energy than Ms. Trask does. She is just an incredible person and the absolute best person to be at Orange School. So I just want to thank you all for coming tonight. I am so proud and honored to be a part of this program. I can't wait to cut the ribbon, and I come out often to visit with my grandson, and it's a great place to be. We're so fortunate to have this in our community. Thank you guys all for coming tonight. It's greatly appreciated.
Next, we have our Waterloo School Superintendent, Dr. Gary Norris, and he is starting his 6th year as Superintendent of Waterloo Schools. So we appreciate that he's here tonight to help us showcase our new building. Dr. Norris.
Thank you, Terry, and welcome to everyone this evening. When we closed the older building last spring, I had some facts that I won't share all of them with you tonight, but it's just amazing to think how far we've gone in the 97 years or so since Orange first opened in September of 1916. And what a difference just 100 years makes to look at how education has moved forward. And the old building was great, and we all know that it's what goes on inside a building that's the most important, don't we? But anyway, the new building was built at a cost of $16,196,000, and we have about 92,000 square feet, all on one story. We purchased the land that was about 22.3 acres, and I'm sure the teachers and students will first tell you the first thing they noticed is climate control compared to the old building, and that's wonderful. It has a little bit bigger capacity than most of our other schools, and that was because the board knew of the potential that this area of town could expand, and so the capacity is between 600 and 650 students right now. And you know what? The new building just has great access to technology, which is good for our young people today. We've also got preschool rooms and a couple of extra things you may not know that we've learned over the years in building elementary buildings. And the mayor was right. This is the final building of the elementary schools, but there's benefits in being last. So I got to tell you some of the benefits in being last. We've learned a lot about playground surfaces, and now we use rubber tile rather than wood chips. That you just kind of learn these things over time. We learned that kindergartners sometimes like to leave school buildings. So now we put alarms on the exit doors of our kindergarten rooms. It's amazing what you learn. We also have just, I hope you and your kids feel safe in this building. There's such incredible security devices. We know nothing can ever stop everybody all the time, but we just have incredible security on the doors and security cameras all over the buildings, and we're practicing what we believe is the very latest state-of-the-art, including the secured main entrance. Hard surface lighted parking lots, and as like I said, 6 additional classrooms over the other buildings. And someone wrote on my notes, enhanced lawn irrigation. Now I want to comment on that. It's not that enhanced because it's spraying orange, is it iron all over our building. So we've got to get that fixed, but so it may be a little enhanced. But our school board, I'm proud of them for being good stewards of tax dollars, and let me explain that now. We have invested millions of dollars in saving money on the other end. I'll give you an example. The state-of-the-art energy controls and geothermal systems that are present in our buildings now save at least 60% of utilities costs. And the surfaces that we put on everything now, including the terrazzo floor that you'll see, that was how school buildings were built in the olden day, with terrazzo floors. And you may think you're walking on wood here, but this is actually a very long-lasting synthetic surface that's made to look like wood. So everything we've tried to do lasts a long time, anywhere from a very thick rubber tire membrane that's on the roof of the building that has, I think it's a 30-year warranty. And so I really appreciate the school board's involvement in making sure we build these buildings to last. Finally, let me just say it takes an incredible amount of work to prepare and to open a building. And you're going to probably hear about all of these people, but I want to thank our professionals with Envision and our contractors and all of the staff that made all of this happen, and Marty Metcalf down at the district office. But the glue that held it all together throughout this whole process was our great principal, Terry Trask. So, Terry, thanks for doing a great job.
And I know they said temperature control, but it's warm up there, so sorry. Next, I would like to ask Mike Young. He is the president of our Board of Education. He's been the president for 3 years and on the board since 2007. And Mike is one of the people that not only can say he was here for the groundbreaking and for our closing ceremony and our opening ceremony, but he's been there to just check in every step of the way. So please help me welcome Mike Young.
Thank you. And on behalf of the entire school board, including Shanley McNally and Lyle Schmidt, Angela Weekly, and Mike Kinchy are here tonight, we're here to say a sincere thank you to all of you who had a hand in making this school building a reality. Thank you to the students and the parents and the teachers and the staff for your flexibility, your adaptability, your patience, your understanding, and your positive attitudes over the last few years. Thank you to the administrators, particularly Mrs. Trask and Mr. Elliott. Mr. Erpelding is here as well. And Dr. Norris and Marty Metcalf for helping to solve problems whenever they appeared behind the scenes. Thank you to the City of Waterloo, particularly Mayor Clark, the City Council, and the department heads, and especially Noel Anderson and Craig Clark and many others who worked very closely with the district to make this a win-win situation. Thank you to the contractors and the designers and the architects, particularly Henkel Construction and Vision Architecture, for making this such a beautiful building. This building should stand the test of time thanks to your craftsmanship. Thank you to Buzz Anderson for working with the school district to locate this facility here on this property. Thank you also especially to the Orange Township community for your patience during the process, particularly those of you who were affected and inconvenienced by the construction. I've got to say, the Orange community is in the entire Orange school, the Orange Township and the neighborhood and the entire school community is second to none in our school district for the pride you take in your school. And this is a school building that you should all be very, very proud of. Last and most importantly, we thank the voters of the Waterloo schools for passing the 1 cent sales tax. It's just been a godsend to our community. So because of that, we were able to open these facilities. This is now the last elementary school facility that's been opened thanks to that 1 cent sales tax, and our community is such a better place because of that. Because of all of you and many others, this beautiful facility, and I mean beautiful facility, this building is, I believe, the most spacious and I know the most advanced elementary school building right now in the state of Iowa. It's a fantastic facility. It's now open and will now serve children in this building for years and years to come. It's something we can all take a great deal of pride in. And for all of you in Orange School, we hope you really enjoy this place. Thank you all.
Next on your program, you will see time capsule display, and we wanted to put that on there to bring your attention to the fact that when we closed down the old Orange and brought the concrete sign with us for the entrance, which we hope you take note of, we found 2 plastic tubs that were left as time capsules. And so this last Monday, Mrs. Boyce, our ELP teacher, some students, and several of you from the community came together and opened the time capsules. And we found out that they weren't from as long ago as we had anticipated. They were actually from 1995. However, rumor is that there are more time capsules, or at least one more, floating out there. And if you have any information on that, we would love to know. We are also going to be establishing a new time capsule for this year and are looking for items to put in that time capsule. So when it comes time for our tours and displays, if you would please make your way to the Commons, there's a table there where the students have taken the items and cataloged all of them so you can see what was preserved from 1995. And again, if you have information on another one, Mrs. Boyce would love to hear from you. So we thank her and her students and the people from the community who came together to open those. Thank you very much. But speaking of time and the old Orange, when we were looking for someone to speak on behalf of the old Orange, well, first we thought Blake Hollis would be in the field, and we kind of tapped him out last time with the fight song. But the first person that came to my mind was Mr. John Miller. I was fortunate enough to get a personal tour from John. If you have not been over to the Waterloo Church of the Brethren on the top floor to see what is preserved there for the history of Orange, I would encourage you to go. If you can talk John into a personal tour, definitely go. And Vicki Holler, one of our 3rd grade teachers, and some students put their heads together and gave him a call, and he was more than willing. He joined us, and we found out that he is a 1961 graduate of Orange. His father attended Orange, and it says here graduated in 1929, and and his mother also taught at Orange. His children and grandchildren have either attended Orange or are currently attending Orange. So, we know, some of you know him as a Blackhawk County Supervisor. We know him as John Miller, Mr. Orange. Please give him a hand.
Wow. I got a call from Mrs. Holler, and she said, we'd like you to speak for about 2 or 3 minutes and give us a history of the Orange schools. I said, I'll do my best. Let me start by telling you a story, and I'll try to. You've talked about some of the people who are already involved, and I may go back and repeat. Let me tell you about some history of this area and these schools and who lived here. 156 years ago this past summer, a small boy from Pennsylvania by the name of Simon Miller, at 9 years old, came with his grandmother to live with his aunt and uncle across the street from the school because his mother had died in childbirth and his dad didn't think he could take care of him. Simon Miller is Chase Hollis and Anna McNally's great-great-great-grandfather. And he came to live in this community. Soon after he arrived, the parents decided that they needed to build a new school. So half a mile down the road, they built a new school, and it was called the Creamery School, and it was one of 10 in Orange Township. Now, Gary, I want to give you some numbers from that school. As you gave some numbers from this one, let me give you some numbers from that one. It costs approximately $700 to build. I don't think that would buy your desk and an office chair, Ms. Trask. It had one room with a wood-burning stove in the center. It only went to 8th grade. There were no individual rooms, and the way you determined which grade you were in is which row in the school that you sat in. And for the teachers, let me tell you, that was a really good contract. It was $20 a month, and you were expected to teach all 8th grade, plus music, plus art. You were expected to start the fire and haul the wood in the wintertime and carry water so the kids could have water to drink while they were there. Now, if you were a good teacher and stayed for 2 years, you got a 20% raise, and they raised it to $25 a month rather than $20. So that was a contrast from the 1850s. Fast forward 60 years, and the one that we just talked about, the school over here was built, Orange Township Consolidated School. Anna and Chase's great-grandfather and great-grandmother attended there about 60 years when it was brand new. And the difference in that, and I think, Gary, you talked about this, that I think the cost of that school was $55,000. And it had a gymnasium, and it had, each class didn't have a row, it had a room. 35 years later, Chase's grandfather and Anna's grandfather attended the old school, and additions started to be made on that school. And we were fortunate to have, I think, from the old school, there were 4 additions made to that new school. I don't know what the cost is, but I know the cost of all the schools that I mentioned were less than the $16 million that we paid for this one. Yeah. I tell you that story because, as Mike has said, it's just one slice of one piece of history of one family. But it shows the rich heritage of Orange Township, and it shows the commitment of the people who came to this community for their children and educating their children for the future. I would also be remiss if I didn't talk to you a little bit about what happened at the one-room school. Now, there's lots of stories about what happened at the one-room school. But what happened there, the ancestry of Simon Miller and the people here were from Pennsylvania, and they were known as Pennsylvania Dutch. They immigrated from Germany, and so they spoke Pennsylvania Dutch. If you spoke Pennsylvania Dutch at that one-room school, it was called verboten. You did not speak Pennsylvania Dutch, and because the parents wanted their children to learn English, and you thought ESL was just a new phenomenon in the area. I would also be remiss if I didn't talk about some of the students who come now, bringing a similar rich heritage. We have children here and students here with a Bosnian heritage. We have children here with Hispanic heritage and Asian heritage. And you bring some similar kinds of things to this community that was brought 150 to 60 years ago. So we welcome you, and we welcome your traditions, and help us learn yours, and we can help you learn ours. The program says, building on the past, preparing for the future. Galileo said some 500 years ago, if I have seen further, it's by standing on the shoulders of giants. The reason that we have this new school today, and we're celebrating this new school, is because we have stood on the shoulders of those who have come before. Their commitment to education has been very extremely good, and we are continuing that. I don't know what's coming in the future. I can't predict it. But I do know that if this school, which is brand new today, needs to be remodeled, needs to be added to, or a new one, that those who were in leadership at that time will stand on those shoulders of those of us who came before and make it happen. Go Tigers.
Now you can see why we asked him, correct? He knows orange and he is orange. And we said our theme is building on the past, preparing for the future, which takes us to our next part, which is one of my favorites because it's student and school spirit. If we could have the students please come forward. Nancy Standifer is our music teacher. She's been working with student representatives to share with you tonight our Roar song, which is our school spirit song. And these are just an amazing group of kids. Okay, and we would ask that you please stand for our Roar song, and you can chime in with us as you learn the song. We may have to have them go through it a couple times for us. Yes, 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 together. Let's try it. 1, 2, 3. Yes, yes, yes. There you go. You can have a seat. Thank you so much. You stay right here. They're not done yet. Next, they're going to be sharing with you. Remember we said building on the past, preparing for the future. And they're going to be sharing the 7 Habits hand jive with you. Now, we are very proud to be a leader in me school. And we want to assure all of you that we're not trying to create little mini CEOs of companies. That's not what the leader in me is. This is about personal leadership. And I just want to share with you this piece. We have a fundamental belief that every child can be a leader of their own life, and that they have unique talents and gifts that they can share, just like you've seen with our students tonight. We know that in today's competitive global society, our kids need to be equipped to make a difference. In short, they need good habits. With that, the 7 Habits hand jive.
Be proactive. Begin with the end in mind. Put first things first. Sing, win. Seek first to understand, then to be understood. Synergize and sharpen the saw.
want to invite you to check out the display. There's a Leader in Me display in the Commons tonight. So after the program, if you would do that as well, that would be great. We would love to showcase that for you. Before we go on to the next part of our program and make this official, I want to spin off of Dr. Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Successful People. This is how he defines leadership. He said, leadership is communicating people's worth and potential so clearly that they are inspired to see it themselves, in themselves. And this night would not be complete for me if I did not take this opportunity to publicly thank and acknowledge the true leader in my life. Dr. Covey defines these people as a transition person. Now, 3 years ago, when I was called to the office and told I was coming to Orange, my first response, honestly, was, there are no accidents in the kingdom, so God must think this is the next step in my journey, and this is where he needs me. Right after that, I said, where are the keys, and when can I get in? Shortly after that, I met my amazing superstar secretary, Ms. Jolene Licky. I would like you to give her a hand. And I had the blessed opportunity of, and really with the good wishes of Dr. Norris, he allowed me to go in search of the perfect fit, not just for me, but for Orange as an assistant principal. And I found it right here. Travis Elliott, please give him a hand. And I want to tell you that Travis and I, we make it our personal mission every single day to attack our jobs with passion and energy and enthusiasm. And we make some mistakes, but we know mistakes are wonderful opportunities to learn, and we've learned a lot. But we do reflect daily, and in my decision making, I always come down to asking myself, what would my transition person do, and what would he think? And I can honestly say that if it were not for this person stepping forward and seeing my worth and potential so clearly in me, and inspiring me to see it in myself, I would not be standing before you today. My staff has heard the story of how he's pushed, encouraged, and he even made room in his own home for me when there weren't a lot of other options. He never asked for anything in return other than one thing. He said, pay it forward. Do this for somebody else. So tonight, I want to publicly thank my leader, my transition person. He probably has no idea who he is. Dr. P.J. Porter. And I want to ask him not only to stand, I'm going to ask him to join me. Because I want him to look around. I want him to look around, and I want him to see the results of the seed that he planted so many years ago. Because this is what it looks like to pay it forward. And it's a lesson that we pass on to our Orange students every single day. And he had a funeral in Minnesota today, and I was begging his family to drive, do whatever it took to get him here tonight, because it was that important to me to have him stand next to me to say, this is what you did, not just for me, but for Orange. Because there's another man that honestly, he paved the way, and I got to tell you, I've never, sorry Lynn, but I'm excited to be standing between these two guys. And honestly, I have two people to thank, and I always tell my teachers, you can either thank PJ or blame him, it depends on the day. But honestly, thank you. You're looking at true leaders here on each side of me, and I am just honored to get the opportunity to pay it forward every day and pass that on to our kids. So please stand and give these guys a huge round of applause. Thank you. With that, it is time to make this official. So, we have a symbolic presentation of the keys, or the key. And when I said to Kate, it's big, she said, I thought it might be. So, I would at this time ask the very patient Kate Payne and Brad Leaker from Envision Architecture to please come forward, and I would ask Janine Litke and Travis Elliott to please join me as we will be presented with the official key to Orange Elementary. And we want you to know that Dr. Norris was not playing on his phone. He's actually trying to get somebody to turn on the air conditioning. So just FYI. I just wanted to make a personal note. I didn't want that to end up on the front page. He was being respectful. And next, we have what we call the Purple Coats, which is really the ambassadors from the Greater Cedar Valley Alliance and the Chamber. They are an awesome group of people led by Steve Schmidt and Steve Dust. At this time, we would also ask that the student representatives from each grade level who are going to be a part of the ribbon cutting come forward. We would ask for the administrative team, and then we have the dapper Kendra holding also in purple. We would like him to please come forward and be a part of our ribbon cutting tonight. And any school board members, Mayor Buck Clark, Envision Architecture, Jim Miller, I think we have there, John Miller, excuse me, Alexis, can you come down? Okay. I think we have everyone.
We are the Greater Cedar Valley Alliance Chamber Ambassadors, and it's our pleasure to go around the Cedar Valley and cut ribbons on new buildings like this one. And this is a number of buildings we've done for the Waterloo schools the last couple of years. And again, we want to compliment Dr. Norris, the board, the teachers, the staff, and the taxpayers of Waterloo for providing these great new facilities. And I do have to tell you, on a little personal note, looking at the agenda, I was excited to hear John Miller talk because I thought he was part of the original graduating class here. But I see you missed that by a little bit. But I can say that because he and I are about the same age, so that was not offensive. So with that, we're going to cut a ribbon. I think Principal Trash should be the one. We left our big scissors at home. We just got these little ones. Looking at that key, I wish we'd have brought our big ones, but you and your school board should work back.
Okay. Here's Mr. Ready? Somebody point it. Hey, thank you. Oh boy, that was exciting, you guys. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you. To wrap up our evening tonight, we know that if we start listing people, we won't be able to include everyone, but I do need to honor the current staff and the past staff at Orange. If you would please stand if you're in the audience. Current and past staff of Orange Elementary School. Wow. Like I said, I'm surrounded by rock stars, so that is very exciting. I also want to have Stan. My husband said, boy, I know that you must really respect this woman because I've never heard you refer to anybody as your boss. And this year, I refer to someone as my boss, and I'm very proud. Ms. Heather Conley, would you please stand? She has come to our district from Chicago, and we are blessed to have her. Thank you. She's also an Orange parent, so that's kind of fun. But we would like now to make